back. I hope everybody's doing good. I have been asked a few questions lately that I thought I would come on here and address. If it was one or two, I might let it slide, but it's a few. So I said, okay, you guys seem to appreciate my updates. So here's a cruise update for you. I've been asked recently several questions in what is most important when you get on the cruise, what's the first thing you should do when you get on a cruise, as well as the safety drill on the cruise. Um, I'll let you know what my most important thing to do when I get on a cruise is after I address a few of the things that you guys have asked me. So we'll get to that in a minute. The first thing that I've been asked recently is about the muster drill. The muster drill being the safety drill that you do when you get on the ship. Now, for those that have cruised quite some time, you know that what we used to have to do compared to what the newbies have to do, not the same, totally not the same. Um, I remember that's probably the only thing I dreaded getting on the cruise was standing outside when it's hot with your life jacket on, waiting for everyone else to get there that has probably purchased the drink package and is on island time already. Um, that was dreadful. Now it is so much simpler, so easy. And I believe that everyone is doing this now. The lines that I cruise are definitely doing this now. Um, so the first thing I would tell you to do is probably download the app for whoever you're going to be cruising on, whether it's Royal Caribbean or Norwegian or MSC or Celebrity, whomever it might be. Download your app. There are many reasons for that. One, you have to check in, within 20, 21 days prior to your cruise. You have to make sure that you have all your paperwork, that you've answered all the questions that need to be answered, which they walk you through on the app. So in my case here on my little cruise thing, I have two right now. I delete them once I go, but the two that are upcoming are these two. But you just, you click on your app and you go there and you'll do safety. Once you click on safety, it's going to give you where your muster station is, um, what to report to, and then you have to watch the video. So once you watch the video, they'll see that, and then you report to that deck. Um, there are some, I think, MSC, you watch it in the room, like they tell you these people need to be in the room, and then you report to your muster station. So there's always an announcement. You always know what you're going to be doing. But the muster drill itself, it's just like if you were flying on an airplane and this is how you work your seatbelt, put your mask on before, someone else's kind of situation. The muster drill is the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It is extremely simple compared to what it used to be. But as long as you are following along on what you need to do, i.e., downloading the app and going through and making sure that you've already watched it. If you're on a cruise line that you can watch it ahead of time, go ahead and watch it. And then when they tell you to, when the announcement is made, you will report to whatever station they tell you to report to. There's usually information within your cabin that tells you where you're supposed to report to, as well as usually first thing when you get in on the TV, that's usually what's playing before anything else. That muster drill is going to be playing. And then again, like I said, on your phone. Um, they'll do an all clear afterwards. During this time, don't expect to talk to anybody or any. They are doing their job at that point. They're going to be wearing vests. They're going to tell you, just direct you to where you need to go. But after that's all said and done, you're done. There is no more needing to do anything. So I guess it can be daunting if I look back and say, I do remember the first few times I did it. I do remember it was a little bit overwhelming. So no question's a bad question. We've all, for those of us who have cruised, had to start out, and feeling was mutual. It wasn't, any different. We didn't want to do it back then either. Um, The second thing I would say after that would be that I'm being asked is your cabin ready time. When do I report to my cabin? I don't see the time that I'm supposed to report to my cabin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So each cruise line is going to be different. And I'll honestly say that each cruise is going to be different because the cruise prior to determines how your cruise is going to go. Meaning, if you had bad weather, if something went wrong, if there were any delays prior to your cruise that may have caused that ship to be delayed coming into port, i.e., the storms that we just had here in Florida, your cruise may be running a little bit behind. Um, they do everything they can to avoid delays. Um, so I wouldn't say that's something you need to worry about. They really do everything they can to catch up on time, if something gets behind, as well as making sure that they do anything they need to catch up. But once you get there, depending on the situation, rooms are ready no earlier than noon, and that would be like a everything went fantastic. The cruise probably wasn't 100% occupied, and they were able to get these rooms ready really, really fast. Um, but it's usually probably closer to 2 when your rooms are ready. If you were one of those lucky ones that, hey, it's ready at 1 or 1:30 or whatever, that's great. I will also say with that, it is a very daunting task for those who work on the cruise ship to get those rooms and everything else that they're responsible for, whomever it may be, flipped. And you want it done right. So I would ask, my opinion only, that you not bother your stewardess, or steward, your cabin steward, until your room is ready, until you know your room is ready. Because it's not just your room, it is whatever they're going to be responsible for that they're getting done, on top of any special requests that might have been asked of them prior to the cruise. There's a lot that they're going to be doing, so give them time. I know you're anxious. I know you're ready to go. Some of you may had a really long trip and you just want to get going, rinse off, and do what you got to do. Just give them time. Enjoy the ship. This is your time to walk about the ship and explore the ship. With that being said, talking about walking around and exploring the ship, I'm asked a lot, what should I bring? I can do an entire video on what to bring. And if that's something that interests you guys, you put it down in the comments, for this video, and you let me know, and I will absolutely go through the different items that I think that you should be bringing. Um, Between my husband and I'm sure I can cover everything for you guys on what to wear, haha, what not to wear. I mean, I'm kidding, but give you kind of an idea as of what you should bring. But with that in mind, you do check your luggage. If you recall in my videos prior to, you do check your luggage. You do have a carry-on. Your room is not going to be ready. Don't bring something that you're going to have to lug for an hour or 2 hours, be responsible for. While I feel that the safety on a ship is pretty good, I'm not super worried about it. It is an opportunity. So if you're not paying attention to your bag, if you're having to lug something, you're like, well, I don't want to check this, so I'm going to carry it on. Know that while you eat, while you drink, while you're sunbathing, while you're doing whatever it is you're going to do, you're also going to have whatever you decide to bring with you until you're able to check into that room. As well as when you go to disembark, leaving the ship, you will also have whatever you decide to carry with you. So if you don't, you can put your luggage out the night before, that's fine. But whatever you decide to carry, know that while you're going back through, um, customs, I've had some really long lines recently. All that's gonna be with you. And what seems like it's not that daunting or not that cumbersome for a few moments ends up being quite so after you've stood in line, for 40 minutes. So, again, remember that. Um, Meeting your cabin steward, I've had cruises that I have met my cabin steward almost right away. I mean, friendly, hi, I'm here, whatever you need, I'm here to help you. What do you need? Blah, blah, blah. And then I've had some that I didn't even know who they were. Had no idea the entire cruise. No clue who they were. And I guess I would say that that probably depends on the cruise line. Some of your more Americanized cruise lines are understanding that people want to be greeted or want to be friendly. If you go on something, maybe like MSC, which is a more European cruise line, their customs are different. The way they handle things are different. So it's not that they're being distant or rude or any of those things. How they are in Europe is not how we would be in the States. So that's one of those things that you should probably just understand and be aware of. Where we are, hey, how are you doing? Grin and bear it, work through it kind of situation where we feel like if I say hey to you, you should say hey back. There are some that if it's not necessary, discussion is not on the table. It's just like, thank you very much. I'm doing my job and goodbye. So with that being said, if you happen to meet your cabin steward and you do see your cabin steward, that is a time that if you want anything special in your room, if you're someone that says, "Hey, I need to make sure that I have plenty of ice for," you're just someone that likes a lot of ice, or you're someone that needs ice for something else. If the room is, not set up correctly, there's always a phone there that you can call and say, "Hey, the beds were supposed to be together," or "The beds were supposed to be separate," or whatever you run into. Um, there's a lot of times that you can call the front desk and then they'll get housekeeping back to get it all taken care of. But if you do meet and you do have a special request and it's something that's going to be every day and it's something that your room steward is going to be responsible for, um, let them know when you see them. Don't hunt them down. Don't, I mean, if you have to hunt them down, just call. It's the same thing. But if you do happen to see them, say, "Hey, it's nice to meet you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you're going to take care of my room this week. I'm someone that likes ice in my water, and I would really like it if the ice bucket was, filled during this week, you know?" So to answer that question, for whomever asked that question, I'm sorry, I can't remember everybody who asked everything. But that's how I would address that. It is a very busy day for them when you get on your ship. You think you've had a crazy day. Can you imagine switching that many rooms in one day, plus everything else that they're responsible for? They usually have more than one task that they're responsible for. So it's a very busy day. So please keep that in mind when you're doing that. Hopefully, you've downloaded the app prior to getting on the ship at this point, because when you get on the ship, it is airplane mode only. No, there's not Wi-Fi unless you purchase it. If you purchase Wi-Fi or if you don't purchase Wi-Fi, you still have to have your phone in airplane mode. With that being said, once it is in airplane mode, downloading the app, like I said and referred to in the beginning of the video, once you download that app, you can use the ship's Wi-Fi. Now, what I mean by that is just the app in particular. So if my husband is at one end of the ship doing something and I'm at the other end of the ship filming or doing something, I can text him and say, "Hey, I'm headed back to the room." So that's what I mean by there's an intercommunication within the ship's app that you can use, because you're not going to be able to use your actual cell service. If you purchase Wi-Fi, keep in mind that it is not a fast Wi-Fi. It is not a streaming Wi-Fi, even though they say it's streaming, it's very slow. So also keep that in mind. Um, I would ask you to look into each one because each one's going to be different. Things are upgrading all the time. So look into it and make sure before you purchase it that it is something that is going to work for you, as well as the device that you want it on. It is usually one person, one device. So make sure that when you're doing that, if you happen to be on your phone and you think, "Oh, I'm going to go through this real fast and I'm going to do this. Oh my gosh, I've just downloaded it on my phone and I really wanted it on my tablet, or I really wanted it on my computer," that's gonna take some figuring out, and I'll be honest, a lot of times they're just like, "Sorry, it's too much trouble." Um, those are my words, not theirs. It's very hard once you download it on that device to try to change it. So decide what device you want it on, download it on that device or devices, whatever it may be, what one, two, or family plan. So that's something that was asked too. So hopefully that addressed that question. If it didn't, message me and I'll answer it more directly for you going forward. Um, Again, like I said, even if you don't purchase the Wi-Fi, you still have to put your phone in airplane mode. Sometimes when you get to ports, you're going to get the 5G or something from the island. So sometimes all of a sudden your phone will start dinging if you decide to take it off airplane mode for a moment. It'll start dinging with all the messages with it, even though you told people you weren't going to be here when you're out. So if you've got somebody says, "Hey, I want you to check in," say, "Well, on this day I'm going to be in Cozumel, or I'm going to be in, wherever it is that you're cruising to, and I'll probably be able to contact you when we get to port." So yes, there are times that you might have cell phone service once you take it out of airplane mode once you get to that port. But while you are on this ship, no. And no hotspotting from each phone to phone. That's it. Just so you know, as I like to say. Next question is unpacking. Um, do I unpack? Should I unpack? How much room is there? Um, each cruise line is different in the sense that some have drawers, some have larger drawers, some have shelves within the closet itself. I kind of do both. I have the items that I don't want wrinkled, that I'll hang up. I'll spray, and then I'll hang them up and I'll let them be hung up. And the things I don't really want to waste time putting up, I don't. I leave it in my bag in the bottom of the closet. That's me. Some people have the need to unpack everything. Their mind is clear. That's fine. And then once you're done, you take the luggage and you put it underneath your bed. I cannot recall at this moment in time a room where I have not been able to put the luggage under my bed. Maybe some of the older ships, but everyone that I know of personally at this moment, once you unload your luggage, you slide it under the bed. Just lift the little skirt thing up and slide it under the bed so that you're not taking up room, especially if you have more than one person in the room, some of the family rooms that sleep up to four. Save your space where you can. Um, but that's something I didn't think of. I kind of take it for granted, so I apologize for not saying that. But yes, the luggage goes under the bed once you're done. Your luggage may arrive sooner versus later. It just depends on, like I said, the day, how many people are on your cruise, if there was any problems at the port, going through luggage, because they do check everything, prior to you cruising. But pack anything that you need in your bag, in your carry-on. Um, if you're someone that needs a certain pill at a certain time, don't put that in your bag. Put that in your carry-on. If you're someone that says, I'm going to immediately go to the pool, you know, make sure you have a bathing suit with you. Make sure you have anything you're going to need to go to the pool with you. All your documentation, anything like that, should be with you at all times. Some people go directly to the safe, and there is a safe in the room. They lock it up in the safe. That's your choice. I'm not going to tell you what to do when it comes to that, but there is a safe that you can put things in for your duration of the cruise. But once your luggage arrives, I've only had one time that it arrived almost like right before dinner, and we usually do an early dinner. We usually do like 5 o'clock dinner. That it arrived really late. And like I said, I've cruised enough times that I don't see that as being a major issue at all. But when it arrives, and it's usually if your room is ready by um, 1, 2 o'clock, your luggage is usually there an hour or so afterwards. Not always. Sometimes it's same time. It depends on, like I said, where your floor is, where they're undoing the luggage, um, how fast you're going to get your luggage. But hopefully it arrives sooner than later for your sake. I would say for those that have saying, what should I know? What's the first thing I should do when I get on the cruise? What should I know first? What is the most important thing about cruising? I'm going to say that everybody's different. There are some people that I would tell, go to the restaurant, make sure you're getting the table that you're getting. Because once you arrive that night, the concierge or the maitre d' is not, he does not have the time at that moment to rectify everyone's table assignment because everyone is there. So they're usually there when you arrive on the ship. They're usually, if you go to the dining room, they're there. And if you are someone that does not want to dine with a table of 10 because you only have two people, and this is your time to actually spend time with whether it's your mom, your sister, your brother, your husband, your wife, or whomever it may be, that's the time to see if that can be changed. Sometimes the dining fills up really quickly. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they'll say, we'll get back with you. Don't be offended if they say that because those parties may not show up yet. And they have to be able to move people around. So the first night, it may not be exactly what you want. Keep that in mind. But if that is something that is important to you, I would tell you go to the dining room. If you're someone that has the desire to use the spa, take the tour of the spa. Again, your room's not going to be ready right away. That's your time to, hopefully not have a lot with you, walk around and explore the ship. Exploring the ship once you're on it, exploring the ship via the flat floor plan that you look at prior to cruising, two different things. Some people are really good with maps, some people are not. I am one of those people that I'm very good with maps. However, you get on a ship, I don't care. You get turned around every time. Every single time. You're like, okay, I go forward. No, I'm going backwards. Because there's really no sense of direction. You can't feel that you're going one way or the other on a ship. So it's really those, okay, this is my marker, whatever it, may be. They have signs pretty much everywhere on the ship now. Some of them are automated, some of them are just a little ship with the floor plans of you are here. so figure out where you need to go. But if you get on the ship and you take just a few moments to find those places that are going to be most important to you, whether it's the gym, the spa, um, the movie theater, the games, the pools, whether it's the solarium for the adults or the slides or whatever it may be, depending on what cruise you're on. Take time to find that now and find what I would consider the path of least resistance to that destination. It will save you so much time from walking around from, oops, I walked to the front of the ship. I needed to be on the back of the ship. Those things, it's part of vacation, it's part of cruise, but if you can kind of cut that down, it'll be a more enjoyable cruise for you, for sure. Um, find out where you want to hang out on the cruise. I prefer sitting on the balcony. That's just me. Usually because I'm filming a lot and I take my downtime to just kind of relax and get B-roll, if you will, of just the things that are going by. But find that spot because every ship is different. Where you think you're going to want to sit on one may not be exactly where you want to sit on another. Um, Celebrity versus, Royal Caribbean, two totally different things. Where I'm gonna sit on one and where I'm gonna sit on another are not the same place. But you don't know that until you've been there. You don't know that until you've walked around and seen it. So keep that in mind. Um, Anything else I would say would probably be up to your discretion. Remember, don't overpack. A lot of times you're just having fun. If you're one of those people that say, no, I want to dress up every single day, okay, fine. Then you can bring something dressy every single day. Learn to rotate your clothes out. Learn to find something that's going to be super comfortable. It's vacation. Don't be uncomfortable. Um, Remember, what you bring on the ship, you will be carrying around with you a few hours prior to your room being ready and a few hours before you actually get back to your car or airport or wherever it is that you're going to be leaving from. I hope that these have answered the questions that seem to be rotating right now in my inbox. If I've left anything out, let me know. I will be glad to address it in the next video for you guys. Um, I've got a couple coming up, so I will keep you updated on in the cruise world and what's going on, what I think is most important, and what I like and dislike about it. So thanks for watching. I appreciate every one of you. If you could, like my video, as well as subscribe. When you do that, you tell YouTube that, hey, she's worth watching and other people should watch her. Without that, there is no discretion and my video could go to anybody, anywhere. I would much rather have someone that's watching it that appreciates it. So for those that are subscribed, thank you. Until the next adventure, we'll see you next time.